when you, like when it's been documented that when a mother gives birth to her young, she and her baby can stay together for several years. The baby also identifies with females in the pod, like aunts. If the mother needs to feed and she goes away from the pod, the aunts will actually go and assist the baby to swim. So there's that kind of structure where they have a family where when somebody needs to go to feed or whatever, there's a next of kin.
They look after each other.
Yeah.
They identify with each other. They know they have roles as well.
Exactly.
Wow. Now, the video that we showed before we came on cam was a video of Earth Island Institute. It's an Earth Island Institute production, and it's available on YouTube. And it showed us a clip of what the Anna was saying about the cruelty that dolphins experience when they are brought into captivity. What is wrong with captivity in a nutshell? Why is it cruel, Trixie?
From the time that dolphins are caught in the wild,
Yes.
because no wild dolphin will willingly go with you. So you have to fight off their family members who will try to defend whoever you're catching.
That happens?
That will happen. And because the dolphin show industry would always choose a young female animal because they're trainable.
And they can breed.
They can breed and they're not as hostile as the males. So they will choose young females. And the rest of the pod will usually try to protect this particular animal. And you have to fight them off or injure them or at worst kill them so you can get this animal. When you have already brought them in captivity, you have to train them to obey your commands. So they can jump through hoops, they can bounce balls on their snout, and you cannot do that with a wild animal unless you train it.
So these actions of dolphins we all enjoy. I mean, guilty as charged. I mean, unknowingly I've watched dolphin shows and I've seen them, as you said, jump through hoops and balance balls on their snouts. This is not something that they do in nature. This is something taught to them by man. They don't have these skills or they don't have this inclination in the wild.
Correct. You never see a wild dolphin bouncing a ball. You never see a wild dolphin jumping through a hoop because there's no hoops in the ocean. These are learned behaviors which has to be imbibed by the animal. And the way they do that is they starve the animal for days or maybe weeks until the animal comes into submission. And they train the animal in such a way that if they do whatever the trainer wants, they are rewarded with dead fish.
No wonder in some of these dolphin shows I've seen here and overseas and on TV, the trainer always has a bucket. And after every trick, he's like, throws a fish or like a sardine or a mackerel, I don't know what it is, but throws it and the dolphin catches it, and then after every trick.
Exactly. So that's what you see. It's a hungry animal. The animal that you see over there, it's hungry. Otherwise, we want to challenge the trainers. Give it all the fish it wants, and let's see if it will obey you. The moment you ask it to jump through a hoop or bounce a ball.
Would you know how long the dolphin is, quote unquote, starved before they're given their first lessons so that they'll submit?
According to Rick O'Barry.
Who's Rick O'Barry?
Rick O'Barry is a former trainer of Flipper.
The Flipper.
The Flipper of the 1960s.
Okay.
He was one of the first.
We all know Flipper.
Yeah, he was one of the first trainers to catch dolphins and train them for shows. But of course, now he's realized the error of his ways and he's now, turning back on that one. But before, he said, animals have to be starved for days, even weeks. So each animal is different. The resistance of animal is very different. But they take on they like humans. They can take on they can like humans very quickly. So it's not hard for them to train dolphins. So, but you have to start them. There is that breaking period where you have to
break down their spirit, break them down physically, and the spirit obviously follows after that.
Yeah.
Now, Anna, from your point of view, PAWS, you guys, you mentioned that you have shelters and you take in dogs and cats that have been abandoned or maybe abused, and then you take care of them. What about people who come in defense of dolphin shows who say, hey, in our place, in our facility, they're fed, they're safe, there are no aggressors around, they have no enemies around to prey on them, and they're actually better off in our tank, in our oceanarium.
Yeah, the reason, buddy, why we wanted to go into this advocacy is because it has a very fake facade. Like, people think dolphins are actually enjoying saying that they're just like dogs and they can be trained. Now, we always go back to the main difference between domesticated animals that have been with us for years and they enjoy human company and they can survive with humans as compared to wild animals. And all animal welfare and animal rights group will tell you that wild animals belong in the wild and they should be free. Now, for those who argue that they're just trying to save these animals from being hunted down or captured, they have to see a connection that the reason why they are being hunted down in the first place is because of the demand for dolphins in dolphin shows. There are no successful breeding programs, captive breeding programs for dolphins. So every time they say that this dolphin came from, was bred in captivity, they're actually lying to the public. Most of the dolphins in dolphin shows were caught from the wild. And so it just begs the question, you say, you try to protect them when your very demand is for these performing dolphins to be trained, is fueling the trade. And for most organizations that save animals, we are foundations, we are non-profit. We never charge people an admission fee to go into our shelter and view the animals there. So if they were really going into dolphin protection, they should be registered as non-profit foundations. And every penny that they receive should go into rehabilitating those dolphins. And true rehabilitation consists of preparing them to be released back in the wild. Rehabilitation is not keeping them for life. Rehabilitation is not about exploiting them. It can be likened to like an argument like I save a street child from the streets, but I go and send him out and prostitute him and make money off of him. And that's basically what the dolphin industry is doing to the dolphins.
That's a good analogy when you think about it, and it's actually almost, as you said, almost exactly that. You take a